Hi everybody, this is Kaylin Asher and welcome to Yoga Business Live. Unfortunately, Chris was having some issues with his microphone, so I am going to be dishing out on today's topic all by my lonesome. I'm sorry that he can't be here to add his contribution, but I'm still going to deliver you lots of great information about Evergreen Yoga Offerings. And this question actually came to us through the Yoga Business Live Facebook group, which is an awesome community of business-minded yogis and other entrepreneurs. And this question actually came from Beth Tassione, and she was wondering what exactly Evergreen Offerings are. I think Chris and I had mentioned them a month or so back and kind of just mentioned them in passing, but they're a really powerful tool for your business. And so we're going to be diving into exactly what they are today, why they're beneficial, and how you can start to implement some of these evergreen offerings into your business to hopefully increase sales and bring in a little extra money. So the first thing I want to cover is to just kind of highlight the difference between an evergreen offering and a traditional offering. So a lot of times, especially in the online world, you'll hear the word launch, and we talk about launching a course or a product or a new service. So in a traditional format, a launch takes place for everybody on your list in your online community at the same time. For example, I just launched my course, Become a Yoga Brand, and everybody was invited to join the speaker series before the course and then move through the process of the speaker series and then purchase the course if they were interested in continuing their education. So that was a set period of time defined by me that everybody moved through together. Now with an evergreen offering, the launch is a little different because it's conditional upon each individual person's relationship with you, meaning that depending on how long they've been in your community or what they're interested in, different offerings will arrive for them at different times that make more sense, and there might be a little more likely to move to that next level and buy the offering that you're presenting to them. So that's just a little background about evergreen versus traditional launch of products. Now, the benefits of having evergreen launches and evergreen products on your website, there's a few of them. One is that it's always running, it's always working for you. We talk about how creating an online presence is that you get to have your marketing and your products out there 24/7. And an evergreen launch just kind of ups that to the next level because not only do you have a presence 24/7, but you actually have these sales and products being made available all the time to your community instead of just once or twice a year like a traditional launch or product or workshop might be. Now, like I said before, it's also tailored to each person's relationship with you. So they are getting access to these offerings at a time that really makes sense in the development of your relationship with them. So for example, if someone had just signed up on my list in mid-August and then they were suddenly invited to the speaker series and invited into the course, they might not be ready to do that with me because they don't know me yet, they haven't got a sense of what I'm offering, it might not be the right time for them. But with an evergreen launch, you can stipulate when they receive that information. It might be 3, 6 months, 12 months down the line after they know you, have a sense of what you're about, and really enjoy being a part of your community. Number 3, another great reason to do an evergreen launch is that it takes really no maintenance or very little maintenance during the launch process. When you're doing a really big timed launch for something, it takes a lot of hands-on manpower to make it happen. With an evergreen launch, you set it up ahead of time and then you just let it run on its own. So it's a really hands-off process, and it can be really enjoyable because of that, because it's just working for you and you don't have to worry about it. And another cool thing about it is that it spreads out your sales over time, because people might get this offer 6 months into their relationship with you, and because you're always having people sign up for your list, those people are getting this information at different times. So all year long, you're having people move through this evergreen launch process, where in a traditional launch, when you pick the time frame and just send it out at that time, everyone's moving through it together. So yeah, you might get a lot of sales and a lot of interest, but it's a one-shot deal, and then you have to build that momentum again, where an evergreen just keeps going and going all on its own, which is kind of cool. So I want to share with you just a couple ideas for evergreen products, because, it's all well and good to talk about this strategy and how it works, but if you don't know what you're going to be offering or selling, or don't have a clear idea of what could work in this format, it's not going to be very successful for you. So you could do something really simple like an ebook or a series of ebooks. You could do yoga videos or a series of audio meditations, perhaps even a small course or an online workshop that's complemented by a few really actionable worksheets that help people dive deep into the offering. So it really can be anything that you imagine. I would recommend that you save your really, really big offers, your super premium one-on-one coaching products, your really exclusive, robust courses. Save that for the one-time launches, because that takes a little bit more time and energy to coax people through that and really understand the benefits of what you're offering. But smaller mid-level price offerings or introductory offerings work really well as evergreen launches, because it's something that you can kind of introduce your community to and draw them in with this next level of working with you. And then when you decide to roll out a traditional launch of a really big course or something robust that you've been working on, you're going to have people who've already purchased with you through their evergreen offering ready to move into that next phase, to that next level, and to work one-on-one with you, or to purchase your big program, whatever it is. So an evergreen launch is a really great stepping stone. So I encourage you to think about introductory offerings and mid-level offerings. So things generally that are in the $50 to $150 range, or $200 to $350, $400 range. That tends to work better for this type of offering. Save those $500 plus programs for those traditional launch sequences when you can create that sense of time, where you limit the time for them to enroll, and you also create that sense of urgency, so that people really are pushing themselves to the next level to embrace the offering that you're making available to them. So the basic system, we're going to roll this out so you have a sense of how these things work. So basically an evergreen launch is just a series of launch emails that would be triggered by an event. For example, it could be someone signing up for your list. If you have a really small offering, like maybe a $15 ebook, you could do an evergreen launch right off the bat. They sign up for your list, they get a series of maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe emails that gives them some great information, educates them about what you're offering, and then the final email could say, hey, if you want some more information about what I've been talking about in these last few emails, buy this ebook. And that tends to be really, really effective. You've warmed them up through that evergreen process. So another trigger could be them signing up for a special interest list. So for example, you might have an email list of 1,000 people, but then you invite those people and others outside of your community into a sub-list that maybe has a more focused niche or perspective, or something that has a slightly different take than your general list would have. And then maybe you have 200 or 300 people move on to that sub-list, that micro list with a specialized niche, and then those people are then invited through that evergreen launch. So you kind of cull down your big list to get down to the ideal people for this offer if it's something specific, and then you move just that group through the evergreen launch. Another trigger could be just a time trigger. They've been on your list for 6 months or 1 year, and then they're invited to move through this launch process for maybe a mid-level offering, something in the $200 range, where you know that they're part of your community, an active part of your community, they've stuck with you, and now it's time to invite them to take your teaching to the next level, to dive deeper into their relationship with you, and it's likely a good time for them to move into the next phase of their development and their next phase of the relationship with you as a yoga business owner. So these emails are going to be sent out automatically, triggered upon this event, whatever you determine that event to be. Sign up for a list, sign up for a sub-list, or a time trigger. And then they're just going to roll out. You can have them roll out every day, every 3 days, once a week. Generally, it's nice to roll things out over about a week and a half, send out 2 or 3 emails. That's just the loose general formula. Depending on your product and how expensive it is, what exactly it includes, that will depend. And you can also try out a few different formats and see what works for you. Try it one way for a couple months, see if you get any bites, then switch the format, try it another way, see if it encourages your community to act differently in response to the content you're putting out there. So, what you'll need for an evergreen launch, it's really rather simple. You'll need an email list of prospects, and if you listen to me and Chris, we're talking all the time about great ways to build your online yoga community. It's such an important part of your yoga business, even if you're a local teacher, to have that community of support, not only in the studio, in the classroom, but online. Because if we really want to make yoga our career, we have to think about ways of creating multiple streams of income for our businesses. And that means we can't just be teaching group classes. We have to think about other ways. And creating evergreen offerings and online offerings is a fantastic way to expand your business. And also, like I was saying, these evergreen offerings, they're working for you 24/7, so you can literally make money while you're sleeping or make money while you're in yoga class or in shavasana. They are doing the work for you. They're educating your prospect about your work, the work that you do, and also about the specific offering that's coming up. So it's always nice to give a little bit in those prep emails, they might even be videos or audio teachings, but don't give it all away. Just enough that they get some baseline information, they're feeling really good, and then if they're ready to dive deep into the teaching, that's when you invite them to purchase the service or product that you're offering. So like I was saying, you need your email list of prospects, and you need an email delivery system. It's not going to work just to have it set up in your Gmail account, because you need something that has an auto-responding feature where you can schedule these things in advance, put in your trigger event like we were talking about, and then they send automatically. So I use MailChimp. That works really, really well for me. I've enjoyed it. There's also Aweber and Constant Contact. Really doesn't matter which one you use as long as it has that auto-responding feature, and all of them do have it. You might have to pay a little bit each month, $10, $15, $20, but it's really worth it, especially if you're bringing in sales of a couple hundred or more every month. It more than makes up for that little bit of expense. So I hope that you are getting excited about the idea of expanding your online reach through these evergreen offerings. It's a really fun thing to explore, especially if you're getting comfortable in the online world, if you've been creating videos and blog content and really great stuff. This is a beautiful next step for you to move your community into. You send out your 2-3 emails. The last email invites them to purchase your product. They can purchase it directly through the email itself via PayPal. That's free and easy. Or you could even then redirect them to a sales page where you further explain the offering and have a buy now button. Again, you could set up a shopping cart, do it directly through PayPal. There's a number of different options. Obviously, this all takes a little bit of time. There's going to be a learning curve. So start with something small. Start with something manageable. A downloadable ebook would be really, really simple. Or maybe a couple of videos that deliver a really profound teaching that you know your community would love. Start small, don't overthink it, get this thing in the works, see how it's moving for you, and then refine, then change, and down the road you can think about how to flesh this out into maybe a bigger one-off product in one of those traditional launches that expands even further on this teaching. So as always, we like to leave you here at Yoga Business Live with an action step that is going to move you forward in your business so that you're always making strides in the right direction. And this month, we're inviting you to look at the content you've already created. This is a great place to start. Look at your blog posts, your videos, your podcasts, worksheets, maybe an in-person workshop that you developed. Look at all that great content that's already sitting there at your disposal and see, in looking at that, what ideas you start to get for these evergreen offerings. That's a really, really great way to get your feet wet with it because you're not reinventing the wheel. You're working from stuff you've already built and already created. So don't take too much time. I'm talking 15, 20, 30 minutes. And start generating a list of evergreen ideas, things that you think your community would absolutely love, that you would feel really jazzed about creating. And just start with the list. It all starts from there. Once you have that, cull it down. Get to your top 1 or 2 ideas and then build them. That's that simple. Make them, and once you make them, you're going to want to share them. It's going to be really simple. You'll set up your emails, you'll move your community through that launch, and you'll invite them to enjoy the product that you just put a little time into. But start with the list. Sit down, write down your ideas for your evergreen products, and see where it goes from there. And once you have your product, share it on the Facebook page. Get yourself over there. Introduce yourself to the community. Tell us about the amazing work that you are doing, and share the link to the awesome thing that you created. We'd love to check it out. Maybe some people will be interested in purchasing it. That never hurts either. But that's a really great forum to interact with other business-minded yogis. And also, just like today's teaching came from a question we found over at the Facebook group, we love hearing from you. If there's something you want us to talk about on one of the upcoming Yoga Business Live shows, get on over to the Facebook group. Write your question down, and Chris and I are always checking in there. We're always interacting with the community. We love hearing from you guys, and we want to answer the questions you want to know about. So let us know what they are. As always, I thank you for joining me, and I don't think I'll be seeing you next month because my baby girl is due to arrive on October 16th. So I'm likely taking October off, so Chris will be going solo next month, but I'll hopefully be back in November to join you guys for that Yoga Business Live. Take care, and thanks again. Bye.